Lunch with the Doc. Thank you so much for joining us. 12:30 every Wednesday. We just have a good time. Actually, my wife last week just completely blew the doors off. There were over 1,000 people that watched her pass on some wisdom about cooking, about shopping, about eating, about dining, about fun. You know, I mean, she's entertaining in and of herself. I usually say, Lisa, you got to have your own TV show because she's a cracker. So today we're here in front of Wahoo's. Wahoo's is institution here in this town. I think they opened up here in like
Wahoo's!
1990 or something like that.
Yes.
And they've been great food. We're going to talk about some of the menu items today. We're going to talk about some of the ways to stay healthy. And our topic for today is just to talk about the #1 health problem in America. What do you think it is? Loud trucks. That's what it is. No, it is. Here's your choices: cancer, heart disease, or autoimmune diseases. What do you think they are? What's #1? What's #2? #3? I'm going to give you a minute to think about this. It may surprise you. Do 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 do. All right, enough of that. So, #3 is cancer. 9 million people in America have got cancer right now. #2 is heart disease. 22 million people have heart disease in America. #1 is autoimmune disease. It's a broad category. There's over 80 different kinds of diseases that are considered autoimmune. There's between 23.5 and 50 million people in America that have autoimmune diseases and autoimmune reactivities. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Why is it so prevalent in America? What can be done about it? Do you potentially have it? I actually do, and that's why I want to talk to you about it. So come on inside, let's check it out.
Yeah, here we go. Let's get some food. So if you're just tuning in, this is our Lunch with the Doc every Wednesday, and feel free to interact with us. You can ask questions because you're right there, you're live, and we're right here. We can see your comments, so you can just type away, ask your little questions. We will answer them and provide you with the Doc's wisdom. So probably most of you know Wahoo's. I mean, who doesn't come to Wahoo's? It's pretty much epic. And they've done a lot of like cool innovations to their menu over the years so that you have really nice, healthy options, paleo bowls, and skinny tacos, and lots of really good stuff. So we love coming here. What do you normally do, Dad?
Well, because I'm gluten and corn free, I mean, I used to just mow the tacos, but now I have skinny tacos because I can't have corn. And so I have skinny tacos. I'll do salad sometimes. You know, if you like blackened fish or non-blackened fish, I used to get the non-blackened fish. So I'm going to get these citrus slaw skinny tacos with avocado. It's my favorite. And I'll probably get 2 because this is my paleo meal here, and it's also like a ketogenic type of meal as well. So that's my favorite. What do you like, Mom?
I like the same thing. I also love the Fit soup. Their chicken tortilla soup with it. Then they add brown rice and avocado. It's really yummy. And I also, sometimes I'll just do a citrus slaw taco with like a little bit of rice and beans because the rice and beans are amazing.
Yeah. And some people, like my son, who's got the camera, he actually can eat anything he wants to. So here's his deal. You film him. What
all right. Let's check out what Ryan likes. What do you like, Ryan?
I get 2 shrimp tacos.
Ooh.
Citrus slaw, but here's the trick. I divide them into 4 tacos because they give you 2 tortillas on each taco. So I have 4 tacos. It blows everyone's mind.
Wow.
And I get rice and beans.
That is epic.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
So, multiplying the meal.
Yeah, multiply it.
All right, Mo, what do you have?
Okay.
Yeah. We'll put this all on one check.
I'll get one butcher slaw.
And yes, health and balance is fine.
And, yes, I'll have white rice, black beans. And for the taco,
Blackened fish, is that alright?
no butter. And then the taco just with the skinny taco with the lettuce on it. Yeah,
Ari wants a skinny fish taco. She'll pay you extra. With
Black beans, Asian beans.
black beans.
So we got 2 fish tacos, slaw, and guac.
what's up, dog? Yeah. We do like every Wednesday. We do lunch with the doctor and we talk about some like health issue. And we just go live on Facebook, so you're live.
Dr. G.
I know.
Hey, how you doing, brother?
What are we talking about today?
Yeah, Dylan. We're talking about lunch. We're talking about autoimmune diseases. Raya, you go ahead and order.
Yeah, so you're gonna have fun.
This is Dylan. He's one of the best people in Canada, right there. Tell us about your business.
We got a clothing business.
What's it
6
called?
years strong. We're pumping up the volume. This is Brad.
Hey, Brad.
Brad's helping doing
What's
the
the name of your
product.
company?
It's called Gnarly.
Gnarly clothing.
Yep.
What do you specialize in?
Awesome, fun designs.
Trunks, shirts, hats, pants.
Hats, printables, and some good fun cut and stuff. Some crazy
Awesome.
cut and stuff. Yeah.
You're on Facebook Live now. You are a movie star right now.
10-4.
All right. All right. So we're going to get a place to eat here. I think we'll go up into the upper room and continue the TV show.
Oh, it
All right.
actually is live.
Yep.
It's live. We're live. Finishing up the order. Now we're gonna go grab a seat.
It's funny you
See
have
you guys. Hello. Yeah, nice time.
We're actually filming Facebook Live right now.
Very nice.
No way.
Hello.
You guys want to pitch your companies you work for?
Oh.
Oh, well, you.
Well, I'll pitch for the idea of play. I think children need to play all the time. I think we need a better balance between how much tabletop activities you do with them, how much time they spend outdoors. And that's coming from a licensed occupational therapist who specializes in early child development.
More play.
Yeah.
Love that.
More.
I
Yeah.
love
good.
that kind of doctor.
That's really
More
good.
play.
Yes. Yes. There's science.
Good to have. Well, just as a nurse, I would just say just be healthy and take care of yourself. See your doctor when you need to and just live a healthy lifestyle. That's all you gotta do.
There you go.
Preventative medicine
Yes.
through play.
That's what we're talking about today. We're talking about autoimmune diseases and how they happen, what causes them, and what can be done about them. Yeah. That's today's topic. And lunch.
Love it.
All right.
Yes. Thank
See
you
you
for
guys.
sharing. Have a great day. Alrighty. Finding the table.
One little spot in the corner here.
Spot with the windows. Ooh, yeah. Love it. Alright, so you want to begin our little talk? Let's hear from the doc. Expertise on autoimmunity. Super important.
I had no idea how prevalent autoimmune problems were. I think most of us have heard of some of the common ones, like multiple sclerosis, lupus, Graves' disease, Hashimoto's, which is causes the thyroid not to basically work like it should. I actually went to a seminar and was trained all about autoimmune diseases and how prevalent they are and what are some of the triggers that actually make them happen. And as a result, I did a blood test for myself through a lab called cyrexlabs.com, C-Y-R-E-X. And I know there's a doctor, I think his name is Pimentel, who's on TV a lot, and he has a health show and a whole series of lectures and about different problems. But he's also a big proponent of Cyrex Labs. You can go look online, cyrexlabs.com. The section about autoimmunity is the test called Array number 5, A-R-R-A-Y, number 5. I decided to do that test, and I was actually shocked to see that my body, I'm actually one of those up to 50 million people in the United States that have some sort of an autoimmune reactivity. So when I did my test, I got it back and found out that there were markers to, I think, 5 different tissues were under attack in my body. And so my collagen was under attack, and meaning my cartilage, my body would attack it. My myelin sheath, which could lead to MS, was already under attack. My alpha and beta tubulin, which are protective proteins in the brain, were already under attack. When that gets attacked and destroyed, it leads to senile dementia. And so, what are we doing right now? Where are we? Hi, who are you? No, just kidding. And then also even a phospholipid, which is has to do with heart function. So we found that all these tissues were already being attacked. My body had already decided to attack them because they are considered an enemy.
So is that what autoimmunity does?
Autoimmunity basically means your immune system attacks yourself.
Wow.
You have your immune system thinking that one of your own tissues is actually an invader, something to be attacked. It's estimated that of people that have hypothyroidism, how many people do you know, women that you know, that are on thyroid medication because they have hypothyroid? Well, 80% of the women that have hypothyroid, it's actually an autoimmune Hashimoto's disease. Basically, it's a thyroid condition that is caused by the autoimmunity. So instead of treating the thyroid, what should really be treated is an overactive immune system that is too active and it needs to be turned down. There's a great book out if you want to know more about the thyroid and your metabolism and finding your ideal weight. It's called The Thyroid Book. It's available on Amazon by Dr. Karazian, Kharazian. He's a good friend of mine. And it's written for the layperson, although doctors have a lot that they can learn from it as well. But Dr. Karazian and the Thyroid Book, if you want to know more. There's another really good book that he wrote called Why Isn't My Brain Working? And it's all about brain function and neurotransmitters and ADD and sleep problems and tinnitus. 2 really, really good books written for a person that just wants to know more. It's not over your head. It's not a science textbook, but it helps you understand function. So, we talked about how prevalent autoimmunity is and how there's more people with autoimmunity than cancer and heart disease. Let's talk about what we know what it is. Your immune system has targeted your own tissues and it's starting to destroy them. There are multiple diseases. We talked about what diseases are prevalent. Every single person that's watching this, you know at least 1 or 2 people, or maybe you yourself. Crohn's disease, vitiligo,
Rheumatoid arthritis.
Rheumatoid arthritis. Let's see, what are some of the other ones that are considered very prevalent? Oh, celiac disease, did I mention that? Irritable bowel syndrome a lot of times has an autoimmune component. Multiple sclerosis. Oh, type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, most people think it's just for juveniles, but many people actually have diabetes that started in their adult life, but it's actually autoimmune diabetes, meaning that their body is attacking their pancreas. It's not a type 2. And that's called LADA, or latent autoimmune disease, for adults.
Wow.
So one of my buddies from college, I just saw him a couple months ago, and I noticed when I talked to him on the phone, he was slurring his speech, and I went, man, is this guy drunk or something? It's 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And thank you all. Look at this food.
Woohoo! Here comes the food.
You're on TV right now, Facebook Live. We're movie star.
Food dark.
And one is to go.
Yes, thank you.
So much.
This guy is the legend.
And I have the skinny 3 tacos.
He's the bearer of much joy.
Does this have the guacamole too or no?
And this one is the combo number 1. And the skinny taco also.
Thank you.
And I had ordered a guacamole on
I'll
these.
bring it to you.
Thank you so much.
You will.
And this one I'm going to take. Did you order one too?
I think you sent me this one.
I wanted 2, but I was just having one.
Oh.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
That's me.
It's okay. You got it.
Yeah. And that's it for you.
Yeah. The shrimp tacos.
Woohoo,
Too
shrimp
good.
tacos.
And then,
Oh yeah, we are excited.
can I get a Mr. Lisa? Yeah. Mr. Lisa? All right. Thanks, brother. All right. So what'd you get, Mo?
Looks good. I got the skinny fish taco with citrus slaw and then rice and beans.
Cool.
So good. Thank you so much.
Frank is a legend.
We love Wahoos. Thank you, Wahoos. You're amazing. We just have been coming here since we were little kids. Family.
Were you here?
It's like, where should we go to dinner? I mean, why not Wahoos? It's just the
Anything
best.
else for you guys?
Just a
I think
guacamole.
that's-
Then, do you want to ask for the dressing?
Mr. Lisa.
Mr. Lisa. This one?
Thank you.
Enjoy it.
Thanks.
So,
Talking to your friend.
yeah, talking to my friend, and so he's learning his speech. I'm thinking, guy's drinking too much. And then I see him, and he's walking with a real wide gait. And turns out that he had started to get dizzy. And about, a year ago, he started slurring his speech and started losing his balance and would have to catch himself and hold on to railing. Here he's been a friend of mine since college days.
Man.
But so I asked him what was the diagnosis, what's going on, and no one could really find it. They just knew he had ataxia, and a speech disturbance. Ataxia means you get dizzy a lot and it's hard to balance. And so I said, this sounds like it could be something autoimmune. And he had gone to UCLA, he had gone to Stanford, he'd gone to a bunch of different places. But as of yet, there hadn't been any firm diagnosis in terms of what was causing it. The MRI of his brain showed normal. They didn't see any spots to think it was MS. So I just got back his test, and he has 14 different tissues under attack
Wow.
on the Cyrex array number 5 test.
Wow.
His cerebellum is under attack, his thyroid is under attack, his pancreas is under attack, he's got autoimmune diabetes. I mean, it's just full blown. So the reality is now you start thinking about, well, number one, do I have it or does someone that I love have it? Well, you can actually pretty simply guacamole? Yeah, for the 3 tacos, thank you. And so in the process, you want to find out, does a person have it or not? Cyrex 5 can do that. We can order that if you ever want to do a consultation or a basic evaluation of your biochemical status and see if any labs would be helpful to get a firm diagnosis. That can be done through our office, and we'd love to help anybody that you know and care about. So from there, now it's like, well, what are we going to do about this? Well, if you understand the mechanism and you understand what's causing it to happen, here's what usually causes it to happen. And I have some charts in here. In fact, let me do this. If
We'll grab that.
no, you want to come over here and let me show this little chart.
Okay.
Is that okay, right?
So you're gonna. This shows a little bit
I
about
want
the
to show.
causes.
Yeah, I want to show something.
That's awesome. Okay.
Pull out a couple pages. Okay. Look at that. That's the kind of test. It tests all kinds of different organ systems that could be under attack. Here's the 24 different tissues that it actually tests to rule in or rule out if there's an autoimmune condition that's happening. So when I got mine back and saw that 4 tissues
And you first welcome.
were actually under attack. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fresh guac. Boom.
Oh yeah. Take those healthy fats.
Now, I want you to check this out because this really will help people understand what it is. So this talks about that there are triggers. So more than 80 distinct autoimmune diseases have been identified, but it's oftentimes difficult for the healthcare professional to pinpoint the specific disorder. But commonly it may include fatigue, aching joints, tendons, muscles, inflammation, either in the intestines or low fever. Early detection is really the key. So here's a healthy person down here. Here's some sort of an autoimmune activation where there's something that triggers the body to start attacking itself. Sometimes it can be allergies. Sometimes it can be an infection, a virus or a bacterial infection. Sometimes it can be stress. Sometimes it can be a heavy metal exposure, like I think it was in my case. It can also be a malabsorption or leaky gut syndrome can cause it. Sometimes it can even be a head trauma where there's now a breach of what's called the blood-brain barrier. A lot of these things will be the activation. So now your body starts to look at a tissue and starts to attack it. Commonly it's wherever these things actually happen that it'll go to, and if there's an offender, which is like called an antigen, then the tissue that those antigens are in can sometimes get confused by the immune system. Here's what's called the presynaptic phase. Not synaptic, but symptomatic. This means the person already has activation. They just don't know it. They don't have any symptoms at all. Here's where they start to actually get some sort of symptoms like we talked about, but they still don't know that they have an autoimmune disease. Autoimmune disease is usually only considered a disease when there has been something called end organ failure, meaning the tissue has already basically been destroyed.
Wow.
That's when it's usually called an autoimmune disease. So you think about if there's 23.5 to 50 million people that are already at this phase right here, think about how many more are in this phase in here. It's very, very common. So that's in a nutshell how people get this.
Wow.
Now let's talk about some of the things that have been proven to make it worse. There's plenty of literature that shows autoimmune patients are made worse with gluten and gliadin. And there is a test in here that I also did that's called the array number 3.
A lot of people just think that gluten intolerance is just in your head and it's just a fad and it's just kind of like crap and people are trying to make money off gluten and brainwash people. It's not actually bad for you.
Yep.
What do you, as a doctor who studied gluten?
I see why, because things have been fad-like for a long time, and you want to know the science. You know, if you're gonna have an opinion, you'd like it to be based on fact. So I get that, and I don't think that everybody has gluten sensitivities. But one of the things is the hybridized wheat that we have in America, basically thanks to Monsanto, and all the genetically modified foods like the corn and so many other products are genetically modified, our nervous system doesn't recognize them as it would a normal food. A lot of people don't have gluten sensitivities or reactions as much when they actually go to Europe. You go to eat pasta in Italy and it's non-GMO. They don't let GMO foods into European common market. So you can eat it there maybe and be fine. But here, for example, this is the test that actually helps to determine if a person has a gluten sensitivity or not. If you want your opinion about gluten to be based on fact, you can invest and find out, do you or not have a gluten sensitivity? This is the state-of-the-art test that can let you know one way or another, and it's not that expensive. I think it's $225 to know for sure are you gluten sensitive or not. But you're right, it is trendy, it is fad-like, but so many people have it. Like we talked about, they just may feel fatigued after they eat. I noticed when I used to eat corn in the afternoon, I'd have tortilla chips and some guac, but I would really get tired and kind of foggy in the head. So that's how to find out if you have gluten sensitivity. The research has proven that gluten can ramp up an autoimmunity and make it so that the body is like you're pouring gasoline on a fire and you're going to make your body attack itself even worse. So that's the gluten test. That's called array number 3 at Cyrex Labs. Array number 4 is really interesting. This is where I actually found out that I had a corn reaction, which I wasn't really happy about. But this shows, you know, a gliadin antibody is very similar to some other foods, like not a sweet potato, but you can look at casein, which is a cheese protein. It's very similar to the gluten one. So you can actually then do a test to determine, are there other gluten-free foods that could potentially be causing a problem. And this is where I was really bummed, because then I found out not only can I not have corn, but I also can't have, can't have wheat, but I also can't have corn. These are foods that are close enough to gluten that you might think you're gluten-free eating hemp or eating rice or having cheese or milk or coffee, but any of these foods are close enough to what a gluten molecule looks like to actually ramp up your body to attack itself. And this is what was going on with me. So I found for sure, yes, I do have a gluten sensitivity, and yes, corn was also a problem. And I was also a little bit reactive to eggs, so I don't eat very many eggs anymore. So it's been 3.5 years since I had a regular beer, or since I had regular pizza or pasta or a taco. 3.5 years. But I did just this last weekend go down to Mexico, and I did a little experiment, and I had some lobster tacos, and I had my first 2 tortillas
in 3.5 years. Crazy. I mean, that's self-control, you know?
It did taste really good, and yes, I really do miss it. So instead, I have these kind of tacos. I have a skinny taco lettuce wrap. When I go to In-N-Out, I order a protein style, animal style. Same thing at Carl's Jr. if I'm going to go out there. And so it's really, you get used to it. It's not bad, and you know, I can still have rice and beans if I want that. There's a lot of stuff I can have. It's not as though you're going to really miss out on a lot. So, what other questions?
So from my understanding, with an autoimmune disease, you can't necessarily cure it once your body kind of gets into that state of recognizing your tissues as, you know, pathogens and attacking them. You can't really completely stop that process, but there's lifestyle decisions that you can make that can help slow the process, dampen it and make it a lot better.
So you can have a lot more good days than bad days, even though you have an autoimmune marker. So some of those things are, find out what foods are making it worse. So that's the gluten and the cross-reactive food test. See if you have leaky gut. That's Cyrex array number 2, which is another test to look at malabsorption, or if a person has leaky gut, meaning an inflammatory response in their GI tract. And then there are some very specific nutrients that help with an autoimmune problem. Number 1 is vitamin D. We have a product by Biotics. It's called Bio-D Emulsion Forte, and it comes in little tiny drops. Just put those little drops on your hand and lick it off. That's a really good absorbable vitamin D. If you have a blood test and you have a vitamin D test, you want to try to get your vitamin D, D3 between 80 to 100. Most people, they say if it's anywhere from 25 to 100 is fine, but you want to get your immune system dialed in, so usually 80 to 100 is what you want to be at. Secondly, the glutathione pathway, which is the strongest antioxidant. Glutathione is not absorbed very well, so we don't usually recommend that you take it orally, but it's better absorbed on the skin. So there's a transdermal cream called Oxycell that can put glutathione in. That can be rubbed over the liver or anything that's inflamed or painful. Also, there's a product called Glutathione Recycler from the Apex company, which helps your body to recycle and utilize all the glutathione instead of just, you know, excreting it. So glutathione is really important. Other things are resveratrol. We use a product by Apex called Resvero. Tastes really good. Usually have that first thing in the morning. Another thing has to do with turmeric. So use turmeric in your cooking. There's a great product called Tumero, which tastes good. It's a liquid. It's 6 times more powerful than just regular turmeric. And then another thing has to do with inflammation in the nervous system, which coincides and communicates with the immune system, called nitric balance. It has to do with what's called the nitric oxide pathways. Not to get into a bunch of big words, but there are products and lifestyle things that you can do to dampen it. So number 1, find out if you or someone you love has it. Number 2, what foods make it worse. Number 3, do you have leaky gut or not? And number 4, what kind of nutrients do you need to be able to dampen it, and what kind of exercise and those kind of things can be done. 10 minutes of exercise after taking some of these supplements first thing in the morning is really good because it gets the inflammatory process down so the immune system isn't ramped up against itself. So hopefully this is giving you something to work with. And does anybody have any questions out there that you're sending in or you would like to know right now? All right.
Also, just like getting enough sleep and decreasing stress and all those general health practices are super important for anyone with autoimmunity. To just keep their whole system in balance and just be really mindful about those sorts of things.
Not having blood sugars that go up and down like this, have your, that's why paleo eating, eating like this is so important because you don't have these big surges of carbohydrates that cause your body to go through blood sugar highs and lows like a roller coaster. Every time your blood sugar goes up real high, there's a release of insulin and a release of cortisol to bring it back under. That's like a stress response. That's turning on an alarm in your system. And when that alarm goes off, your immune system's going to get triggered. So, well, hopefully we've actually given you some usable information. Hopefully you'll share this with your friends on Facebook and get the message out there for those that are interested. We really appreciate it. And we look forward to you guys coming in as patients if you'd like. We always have a courtesy consultation where you can just call and schedule 15 minutes with a doc. I'll sit down with you, my wife and I, Dr. Jordan Martin, and our nurse practitioner, and Dr. Marcelo Dominguez, our medical director. Hopefully by now you're well aware of what we have to offer. We want to help people get what they want out of life, live the quality of life that they want to. We've recently, reaffirmed that people most likely want to be energetic, live pain-free, active lives. What was it? They want to sleep well.
Abundant, healthy, sleep well, get out of neck pain, back pain, knee pain,
have healthy
sleeping
relationships.
Yeah.
So, and since I just got back from Mexico, my wife said, "Why don't you let this scruffy white stuff grow?" It's been years since I've let that grow, so I don't usually look this ratty around the edges.
It's good. It's a good look. So we're thankful that you guys tuned on, and we do Lunch with the Doc every Wednesday at 12:30, and you can always join us on Facebook Live. You can also always come join us and actually eat with us. That is an open invitation to anyone who wants to come, so we always let you know a couple days before where we'll be. So you can always come join us in town at one of our favorite restaurants at 12:30 and ask questions and be here with us. And Dr. G and all of our healthcare team always have such amazing good info to share. So thank you so much. We hope to see you next week. And we also have an event coming up next week called Beautifully Fit and Free. And it's with Roots, the Beauty Underground, which is an amazing non-toxic cosmetic shop in town. And so what our event will be next week is we'll basically be talking about what does it look like to be a woman that is naturally beautiful, living a life of fitness and strength, and just being able to do all the activities you love, being able to recover from injuries and exercise well, and doing it all in a way that you can really do the things you love and care for your body in the way that you need to. So we'll be doing that with Roots next Thursday night, April 20th at 6:30 p.m. at Health and Balance. There's lots of info on our website. We would love to have you join us. It's going to be a great night. Awesome interactive workshop. You'll leave with lots of cool ideas for stretches and food and beauty products and a bunch of stuff. So it's going to be really fun. Join us next Thursday, and we hope to see you soon. And what do we have to say to these people?
You are amazing. You deserve to be healthy. Share the news to others. Maybe just give an encouraging word that they're not stuck. They don't have to keep suffering. They don't have to keep on masking their symptoms with drugs and medications and Advil and painkillers. They're not stuck. You're not dead yet.
There's hope.
There's
There's
hope.
hope.
All right.
Signing off.
Signing off.
Goodbye.